Oh, my loves, how are you? So I woke up this morning and did feel like a new energy starting to come in. And it felt connected to the energy of prosperity, and not just financially, but in all of the areas of our lives, like really embodying the prosperous energy. And then I had a session this morning, and the energy of the gifts of the masculine came in, connected to my YouTube video that I did yesterday, where I spoke about the gift of the journey, the gift of the initiation, the gift of the soul merge, and all of the gifts that the masculine shares with the feminine. Of course, the feminine shares with the masculine as well. But right now, how these last few months we've really been focusing on the inner union, the inner masculine, healing, the acceptance of the masculine, and also obviously speaking about this deeper perspective shift that's occurring, where there's a lot more temperance and acceptance of the energies coming in. I do feel that there's going to be a session connected with these prosperous gifts of the masculine types of energies. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to come forth yet, seeing as how the masculine energy is so connected to the physical world and, living prosperous energies, but how we work with our internal union energies is such a gift as well. And one of the things that I've been thinking about talking with you guys about is how, when there's the extreme ways that the feminines hold and the extreme ways the masculines hold, especially in those exchanges, right? The soul merges. The goal for the feminine and the masculine is to take those gifts that each other provided and then take that with what you've known and then find that tempered energy. Usually there's a lot more solutions once you hold both views in integrity and respect. And instead of trying to like push to the other extreme, you are actually opening to the other idea, the other perspective, and that can enhance perspective you were already holding. And with this, a lot of times we were holding a specific perspective for that reason to share it, right? But then it's also our job to be able to keep growing with whatever perspective we were holding. And yeah, this can connect with so many topics. In fact, in truth, like this part of my initiation is a lot of where a lot of my shares come from. A lot of the things I've worked through or was guided to work through came from those points of where I was learning from the reflection from the masculine. And then coupling it with my own truth, right? And enhancing the truth I was already holding. And I'm sure many of you have done this in your own way as well, but it feels good to acknowledge it. And it's such an important gift of this process if we're open enough to receive those gifts and to receive the energies and messages that were provided for us, regardless of how you identify. So let's just open this up. I feel like something wants to come through. Maybe a gift from the masculines is kind of what I'm feeling. So as we open our hearts in a new way, in the new energies, let's see what the masculines would like to share. Okay. Empty well, time to replenish. Wow. Okay. So immediately what came in is how we've been talking about so many of the feminines have really been working their inner union journey, working their initiation. And I feel like this is where the masculines are acknowledging that. it's like time for replenishment. In some areas, it's like you've done what you can do. And this is why it's time to come out of hermit mode. It's time to start receiving in new ways. What's coming through is like where we receive the gifts, to see the shadows, right? To see the reflection points in the love and in the shadows and the light and the darkness. It helped us to see our gifts. It helped us to see our weaknesses. And it helped us to work to shore those up. And of course, again, it's still a process, but I'm also feeling the acknowledgement from the masculines that they're aware that this perspective shift in the feminines moving to the next phase and starting to come back out into the world is, yes, about the feminines sharing the gifts that they've been embodying, but it's also an opportunity to replenish and to fill back up through um, external connections. And it's not about needing someone to fill you up, it's about the reciprocity. And so this feels to me, the masculines are acknowledging where they have been quiet, where they have been silent, where maybe you have not seen the physical world reciprocity. And they're acknowledging this right now through this message. And I want to, okay, what else do they want to share? This is interesting energy. It's almost like the masculine wants to come in with more gifts. The masculine wants to provide the feminine with more opportunity for growth. Okay. And as I'm saying this, what I'm seeing is it could be a very specific masculine, but it could also come from the masculine collective. It could come from source. It could come from your higher self. It could come from other feminines. It could just come from the world around you in general. It feels like there is mostly and most importantly this divine energy from the divine higher masculine that is wanting to provide reciprocity and support for the feminine. And even as we're talking about this, it feels important in the sense if it's not a specific person or people, that we're allowing our systems to open to receiving that divine masculine support and guidance from the higher energy, from your higher self. Whatever way feels good and safe and comfortable for you is the point of what I'm saying. Because as we cleared up those protective mechanisms and we dropped into healthy boundaries, or we're in that process, then we're also creating space to open up to true aligned reciprocation. And I feel like that's what we're on the cusp of. That is the part that's wanting to replenish. Okay, my loves. Wow, they want me to get three of these. Huh, okay, let's see. What do we got? It's really shaky. There's like a lot processing. Um, this feels like where the masculine and feminine collectives are like recalibrating to this next phase. But what I also sense is like the files, the information, the energy between this new phase is being opened up, and it's still feeling a little bit clunky, awkward, but not bad. It's like something is being opened that hasn't been opened in a very long time. So let's see what else do we got? Wow. Yeah, okay. They want me to talk about this first. I said three, but they're like the Four of Pentacles. And this feels like exactly that energy we were speaking about, where, this card in a lot of ways can be about being overprotective or stingy. But then there's also this energy of like, no, like just being protective of what is important to be protective of. But this does feel to me that with this coin purse over the heart space, that there's something within the heart that wants to open that actually directly connects to the prosperity, to the gifts of the masculine. And this does feel connected to gifts of the internal masculine, but also being reflected in the external masculine. And it, again, it could be one person, it can be many masculines. To me, it does feel like it can come from multiple directions with multiple sources. Okay. And that's sort of like the flowering of it. Okay. Now we have the 10 of swords and the 2 of swords that came together. And this feels like as you're walking into the new phase, this is where there is a lot that's not seen yet. And this is where this to me feels like this energy of the feminine starting to open up in new ways. It does feel like a gentle process, and it feels important that it's a gentle process because it's not just opening up in the energies. This is actually starting to bloom and blossom in the physical world, in the world, in connection with other people, places, things, experiences. And so it feels like there's going to be quite a bit opening up. I want to pull, I did say three, but those two came together. So I'm taking that as one message. But I do feel guided. Something really wants to open with this Two of Swords. They want me to hold the energy and let it open. Because even as I'm shuffling those cards, the energy is like this is something like that accordion energy, like something wants to open. So I want to acknowledge, honor, and hold space to allow this new container, this new energy with the inner feminine and masculine, the external feminine and masculine collectives, and what is now being opened. What is it that we might not be seeing? What will be beneficial for us to know as we are acknowledging this opportunity for reciprocity? And it flew right out into my lap. And we have the Six of Cups, and it came sideways. And the way that it fell, this feels like where the masculine is acknowledging there has been this journey of maturing. And the way that it was turning and the way that the card landed, it's like it's 75% done. And it flew in the lap. And it feels like at this 75% point, wow, this is crazy. They were reminding me of something that I wrote in one of my journals multiple years ago. And it was like when you get to the 75% point mark, that's when the masculine returns. And I feel like this is connected again to where the masculine collective. And I'm sharing it like that, not because it can't be a specific masculine, but it's really helpful when we stay open and not attached to needing the story to be a certain way. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means when we can really be receptive and open to allowing things to align as they're meant to, this can create this space again for a very natural, organic energy to flow. Wow. Okay. Again, my right arm started to get really tired all of a sudden. And this feels like where the masculines are acknowledging like this last leg of the journey for them is quite heavy. This is like where they're really going through that birthing canal. Like you think at the front it's hard, but this is where like the depths of the real transformation like occur. It's like the whole process you're going and going and going and you're learning things, but then you reach this point where you're the version of yourself that can't really stay in the old energies anymore. And this is what the masculines are saying. Like they've reached this point, and the feminine moving towards her new day is part of what is creating the space, this accordion energy of opening so that they can go that final leg of the distance. And they're showing like it's where they had to build the muscle to be ready to really pull out. So how this feels to me is where a lot of the times we thinkers see the masculine still in the matrix, still in the 3D, but then there's a point where, there's only so much left that they can do, just like that mirror point to the feminines. And now their next leg of the journey is opening, and there's a lot that they're not seeing. This is a very, very deep mirror point, yet also a different part of the journey, so to speak. And so this feels like, wow, okay, the masculines, this next 25% of the journey is like where they also bloom into that true version of themselves, is how it's coming through. Wow. And this is why they are saying like other experiences, people, places, and things may come forward. And it doesn't have to be romantic by any means. It can or doesn't need to be, doesn't matter. It can just be friends, it could be coworkers, it could just be experiences in life that are coming forward to support the feminines in feeling seen, loved, respected, appreciated, which will prepare in that energy to receive the full divine masculine in his full form, because your feminine system is moving into its full feminine receptivity. So for the feminines right now, it's like part of the next leg of focus is preparing your system to actually receive reciprocity in new and deeper ways in the physical world. And again, I sense that there's some gifts from the masculine coming forward to support this process. So we will continue to stay tuned and tapped into this stream. And very much, of course, as always, looking forward to exploring this journey with you. All right, my loves, would love to hear from you if it feels aligned. Take care. Peace.